They stand in silence. 300 British soldiers, rifles at rest, facing a column of prisoners moving slowly through the shattered remains of what was once a German town. The air smells of wet ash and burned wood. No one speaks. The only sound is boots on broken stone. But something is wrong. The faces beneath the helmets, hollow-eyed, streaked with dirt, belong to women. German women, in uniform, prisoners of war. And in this moment, as the two groups meet in the ruins of the Third Reich, no one knows what comes next. This is 1945. Germany is collapsing. Not slowly, not with dignity. Like a building gutted by fire, floor by floor, the Nazi state is caving inward. British forces push deeper into German territory every day, and what they find no longer resembles an army. Old men, children in oversized uniforms. And now, women, conscripted into auxiliary units, tasked with operating anti-aircraft guns, communications, logistics. They wore uniforms, they took orders, they served the Wehrmacht. Which means, under international law, they are combatants. Which means they are prisoners. But the British soldiers staring at them now were not trained for this. They were trained to fight men, trained to expect surrender from soldiers who understood the rules of war. They were not prepared to guard women who might be mothers, sisters, daughters, women who looked like the ones waiting for them back home. The column stops moving. The silence stretches. And the question no one wants to ask aloud begins to form. What do we do with them? The women know they are defeated. They have known for weeks. Some have walked for days, retreating ahead of the British advance, following orders that no longer make sense from officers who have already fled or are dead. Their uniforms are torn. Their boots are falling apart. Many have not eaten in 2 days. But defeat does not mean safety. They have heard the stories, whispered in the dark, passed from unit to unit as the front collapsed. Stories of what happens to female prisoners. Stories of reprisals. Stories of revenge. The propaganda machine told them the Allies were savages. And even now, even knowing the propaganda was lies, the fear remains. They watch the British soldiers. The British soldiers watch them. No one moves. The officer in charge, a captain, young, exhausted, steps forward. His orders were clear: secure all prisoners, establish a perimeter, await further instructions. Standard procedure. But there is nothing standard about this. He knows his men are watching him. He knows the women are watching him. He knows that in the next few minutes, whatever he decides will define what kind of men they are. One of the soldiers behind him mutters something. The captain doesn't turn around. He doesn't need to hear it to know what was said. He has heard it already, in the hours before they arrived. The jokes, the speculation, the darkening tone that creeps into conversations when exhausted men, who have seen their friends die, suddenly have power over their enemies. He raises his hand. The column will proceed to the holding area. But the unease does not lift. Inside the makeshift prisoner compound, little more than a cordoned section of rubble and a few standing walls, the women wait. There are no cells, no barbed wire yet. Just soldiers standing guard and the knowledge that escape means being shot. They sit in clusters. Some cry. Some stare at nothing. A few try to organize, to create order out of chaos, because order is the only thing left that makes sense. One woman, older than the others, stands near the edge of the group. She wears the insignia of a communications officer. She does not cry. She watches the British guards rotate shifts. She watches their faces. She is looking for something. A sign, a signal, some indication of what will happen when night falls. Because night is coming, and everyone knows that darkness changes things. The British soldiers feel it too. The day shift is manageable. There is visibility. There are officers present. There is structure. But as the sun drops lower, the camp feels different, smaller, more isolated. The rules seem less certain. One guard, barely 20, stands at his post and tries not to think about the woman sitting 10 feet away, staring at him. She is maybe his age, maybe younger. Her face is smudged with soot, her hair falling out of a braid. She could be anyone. He shifts his rifle. She does not look away. An order comes down from command. The women will be transferred. A proper POW facility is being established 15 miles west. Transport trucks will arrive at dawn. Until then, the guards will maintain position. No fraternization. No exceptions. The captain reads the order twice. No exceptions. He knows what that means. He knows what it is meant to prevent. He calls his sergeants together. He is blunt. Anyone who steps out of line will be court-martialed. He does not care how tired they are. He does not care what they have been through. The women in that compound are prisoners under British protection, and they will be treated as such. One sergeant, older, harder, asks the question no one else will. And if they try something? The captain meets his eyes. Then you follow protocol. The sergeant nods slowly, but there is something in his expression, something unresolved. The night deepens. Somewhere in the compound, a woman starts singing. Softly. A German hymn maybe, or a folk song. Others join in, their voices threading together in the dark. It is not defiant. It is not hopeful. It is simply sound in the silence, a way to mark time, to prove they are still alive. The British guards listen. Some shift uncomfortably. Some stare harder at the ground. One, the young one, feels something crack inside his chest. A strange, unbearable pressure that has nothing to do with duty and everything to do with the fact that she sounds like his sister. He does not move. No one moves. Hours pass. The singing stops. The compound is quiet now, except for the occasional cough, the rustle of movement. The guards change shifts again. The new rotation is tense. Whispers pass between them. Speculation, rumor, the kind of talk that grows in the dark when no one is certain of anything. One soldier asks aloud, "What did they do? The women?" No one answers at first. Then another soldier, older, says flatly, "They shot at us. They operated the flak guns. Some of them killed our boys." "They're still women," someone mutters. "So?" The question hangs in the air, unanswered. Inside the compound, the older woman, the communications officer, has not slept. She watches the guards. She has been in the military long enough to read men, to understand the signs of discipline holding or breaking. She sees the captain making rounds. She sees the way he positions himself between his men and the prisoners. She understands what he is doing. She also understands that he cannot be everywhere. She gathers a few of the younger women close. She speaks in low German. "Stay together. Do not go anywhere alone. Do not speak to them unless spoken to. Do not make eye contact unless necessary." One girl, barely 18, asks in a shaking voice, "Will they hurt us?" The older woman does not lie. "I don't know." Midnight comes. The temperature drops. The women huddle together for warmth. The guards pull their coats tighter. Somewhere in the distance, artillery rumbles. Another battle, another town falling. The slow grind of the war's final act. The captain does not sleep. He walks the perimeter again and again, checking faces, checking posture, checking for the signs that something is about to break. He has commanded men in combat. He has made decisions that sent soldiers to their deaths. But this is different. This is slower. This is a test of something other than courage. One of his men approaches him, a corporal, reliable, steady. "Sir, some of the lads are asking, why are we doing this? Guarding them like they're worth something?" The captain looks at him for a long moment. "Because," he says quietly, "if we don't, we're no different than they were." The corporal nods, but his face shows he is not entirely convinced. Dawn is still hours away. When the trucks finally arrive, the sun is barely cresting the horizon. The women are loaded in silence. No one resists. No one speaks. They climb into the vehicles with the slow, mechanical movements of people who have passed beyond exhaustion into something else. The British soldiers watch them go. Some feel relief. Some feel nothing. A few feel something they cannot name. Something uncomfortable. Something that will stay with them longer than they expect. The captain stands at the gate as the last truck pulls away. He does not wave. He does not smile. He simply watches until the convoy disappears into the grey morning light. One of his sergeants joins him. "We did the right thing, sir." The captain does not answer. Immediately. Finally, he says, "We followed orders." The sergeant waits, sensing there is more. "Whether that's the same thing," the captain continues, his voice flat, "I don't know." They stand in silence for a moment longer. Then the sergeant clears his throat. "What do we tell the men, sir?" The captain turns away from the empty road. His face is hard, lined with sleeplessness and something deeper. "Tell them we're moving out in an hour. And that is all. The war will end soon. The prisoners will be processed. Records will be filed. The women will return to a Germany that no longer exists, to families that may no longer be whole, to a future no one can predict." But in that compound, for one night, 300 British soldiers made a choice. Not the heroic kind. Not the kind that gets written into history books. Just the choice to remain human when everything around them had stopped being human long ago. And perhaps that is the only thing that shocked anyone. That in the machinery of war, in the grinding collapse of a regime, in the exhaustion and bitterness and rage, some part of decency survived. Not because it was easy, but because someone decided it had to.